Have you ever felt completely weighed down by emotional attachment? Like you're stuck in a cycle you can't escape, constantly chasing approval, validation, or the next big thing, yet never feeling fully at peace? It's a common struggle. We all experience that sense of being pulled in different directions by people, situations, or our own desires. It leaves us feeling powerless and exhausted, as though we're caught in an endless loop. But here's the good news. Change is not only possible, it's within your reach. You don't have to live like this forever. You don't have to let your emotions and attachments control your life. In this video, we'll dive into the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, who understood the weight of attachment and how it keeps us stuck in unhealthy patterns. We'll uncover how mastering the art of detachment can help you break free from emotional chains, freeing your mind and heart to focus on what truly matters. Stoicism isn't about becoming cold or indifferent. It's about gaining control over your responses and understanding what's in your power. Through the lens of Stoic teachings, we'll discover practical ways to release unhealthy attachments, let go of what's weighing on your mind, and find clarity in every area of your life. Imagine waking up each day feeling light, free from the burden of past regrets, unrealistic expectations, or the pressure of others' opinions. What would that feel like? What could you accomplish if you weren't constantly distracted by emotional noise? If you're ready to break free from the grip of emotional attachment and start living with more peace, joy, and clarity, then this video is for you. Let's dive in and start the journey toward a more fulfilled and empowered life. The power of detachment. First up, why is detachment so important? Let's think about it for a second. When we hold on too tightly to people, places, or situations, they start to control us. It's like handing over the remote to your feelings and letting someone else flip through the channels. They start dictating your happiness, your mood, and even your decisions. When we get too attached, our happiness becomes dependent on others' actions, external circumstances, or things that are simply out of our control. That dependency creates vulnerability. If something goes wrong, our whole emotional world can fall apart. We allow others to decide our internal peace, and that's where the problem lies. We're constantly chasing something, approval, success, material possessions, thinking that this will finally fill us up, but the reality is, it just drains us further. But detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you push people away or ignore your goals and desires. It simply means you shift your focus. You start giving proper weight to things that are out of your control. Imagine your emotions are like a kite. Every string attached to someone or something is a potential pull on your feelings. If you hold on to too many strings or grip one too tightly, you're at the mercy of the wind. The problem with this is that the more strings we hold, the more we expose ourselves to unpredictable changes, the emotional winds that can shift without warning. A sudden comment from a friend, an unexpected event at work, or even a minor inconvenience can create havoc in our inner peace. When we're too attached, we lose our ability to respond calmly to life's fluctuations. Stoicism teaches us to loosen our grip and recognize that, while we can't control the wind, we can choose which strings to hold. We can control our response to external events, and we can choose to release the things that no longer serve us. This doesn't make you cold or indifferent. It makes you grounded and resilient. It means you have the strength to face life with equanimity, not being swayed by every shift in the breeze. It's about learning to let go of expectations that drain you and putting your energy into what truly matters. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus famously said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." In the same way, emotional detachment isn't about stripping yourself of desires, but recognizing the difference between healthy ones and unnecessary attachments. Let's get practical. Start by identifying what or who you're overly attached to. Ask yourself, why am I so attached to this? Is it for validation, or am I afraid of being alone? Am I trying to control something that's beyond my reach? Are you seeking approval from others, afraid of disapproval, or holding on to past relationships that no longer bring you joy? Are you striving for success or material gain in ways that are exhausting your energy and spirit? Recognizing the root of your attachment is the first step in loosening its hold. When you identify the underlying fear or insecurity, you can start to shift your mindset. Instead of relying on external circumstances for happiness, you can begin to cultivate internal peace. This doesn't mean you won't care. It means you'll care in a healthier way, with the freedom to choose your responses rather than being controlled by your attachments. understanding attachment. Now let's take it deeper. Attachment often comes from our ego. At our core, we're creatures of love. Think about a newborn baby, pure joy, untouched by the complexities of ego. But as we grow, our ego steps in, creating attachments that cloud our judgment and pull us away from what's most important, love. Attachment feeds the ego. The ego at its core thrives on external validation and the need to be seen, heard, and acknowledged. It's the part of us that fears rejection, craves approval, and measures worth based on external success and material gain. The ego wants to know, am I good enough? Am I valuable? Am I worthy? And to find the answer, it grabs onto things, people, accomplishments, possessions, as if these things will define our worth. But love doesn't need anything outside of itself to be complete. Think of the unconditional love a parent feels for a child, or the pure joy you feel when you're in nature or lost in a creative pursuit. This love doesn't seek anything in return. It simply exists. Imagine living a life driven by love, not ego. Picture a life where you're not clinging desperately to outcomes, people, or statuses. Instead of tying your sense of identity to what you have or what others think of you, your worth is anchored within. You trust that you are enough as you are, not because of anything you can acquire or prove. This is the freedom that Stoicism offers, to trust in the abundance of life, to believe that what's meant for you will come without desperately chasing it. You start to embrace the idea that everything you need is already within you. No longer do you need to grasp onto things to feel validated. You are free to enjoy what comes your way without becoming dependent on it. Detachment isn't about becoming cold or indifferent. It's about recognizing that your worth doesn't depend on external things. Your essence is enough. The more you let go of unnecessary attachments, the more you open yourself up to a life of abundance and clarity. When you detach, you stop measuring yourself against the world. Instead, you allow yourself to simply exist in the present moment, unburdened by the need to chase or possess. Let's explore a practical example. Think about relationships for a moment. We often form attachments because we want love, companionship, and validation. But when we become too attached to how others treat us or how they view us, we risk losing our inner peace. We might act out of fear of rejection, try to please others, or depend on them to feel good about ourselves. But true love in its purest form isn't transactional. It isn't about what you get in return. It's about sharing energy, being present, and giving without expectation. When we let go of the need for constant validation, the dynamic shifts. We no longer seek approval to feel worthy. We give freely, knowing that love is abundant and it doesn't need to be earned or repaid. This doesn't mean that relationships lose their significance. Far from it. It means that the relationships you nurture are based on mutual respect and genuine connection, not on the need to feed your ego or fill a void within you. This is the real gift of detachment. When you stop clinging to external validation, you open the door to authentic, unconditional relationships, deeper personal peace, and a more fulfilling connection to life itself. The illusion of the ego. Let's talk about the ego for a minute. Sometimes it tricks us into thinking we're not enough or that someone else's life is better. It tells us that the way we look, the things we have, or the experiences we live through define our worth. It convinces us that we need more money, more attention, more validation to feel fulfilled. We start clinging to others for validation, believing they hold the key to our happiness. We may even place our self-worth in the hands of our job, our relationship, or how many likes we get on social media. But here's the truth. No one else has a special ticket to happiness. We're all human, equally vulnerable, equally imperfect. Each of us is fighting our own battle, and while it may seem like someone else has it all together, the truth is, no one really does. So when your ego starts whispering that someone else's life is better, or that you're missing out, recognize it for what it is, an illusion. It's a mirage that distracts you from the reality of your own life. The ego makes us think we need to be someone else, or do what others are doing to be happy. It blinds us to the truth that happiness isn't something you can find outside of yourself. It's not dependent on what others have or achieve. Happiness is found in embracing your own journey, in accepting yourself fully, in appreciating the moment you are in right now. Once you recognize the ego for what it is, you can start to disarm it. Stop comparing yourself to others. It's a game you can't win. Every person's path is different, and so is their timeline. Life isn't a race. It's a deeply personal experience. When you stop chasing someone else's version of happiness, you begin to carve your own path, one that feels right for you, independent of the need to prove anything to anyone. This recognition is liberating. It allows you to experience life more fully without the constant pressure of measuring up. The more you let go of the ego's hold, the more peace you'll find. You start to realize that all you need is within you. There's nothing more to prove, nothing to chase. Detachment in practice. Now let's talk about putting all of this into practice. Sometimes detaching means letting go of the past experiences, past relationships, past identities. It's like holding onto a rope so tight that your hands start to hurt, but you're too scared to let go. You don't know what will happen if you do, and that fear keeps you gripping it even harder. But here's the thing. Letting go doesn't mean you'll fall. In fact, it might just mean that you'll finally have room to reach out for something even better. When you release old attachments, you create space for new opportunities, new growth, and new experiences to come into your life. You stop living in the shadow of the past, and you begin to move forward with clarity and purpose. Fear of missing out. FOMO is one of the biggest traps that we fall into. It's easy to look at everyone else's highlight reels and feel like you're falling behind. You see people traveling, succeeding, building perfect lives, and you start to believe you should be doing the same things. It's tempting to think that you're missing out on life's experiences. But here's the reality. What you see online is just a curated snapshot, a moment frozen in time. It's not real life. Everyone has their own struggles, their own challenges, and what's more, your journey isn't meant to mirror anyone else's. What you think you're missing might just be an illusion, a distraction that keeps you from fully appreciating the life you're living right now. Once I stopped scrolling through other people's lives and started living my own, FOMO lost its grip on me. Not knowing every detail of someone else's life doesn't mean you're missing out. It means you're fully present in your own life, creating moments that belong to you. And that's powerful. When you begin practicing detachment, it's not about withdrawing from life or becoming indifferent. It's about choosing where to place your energy. It's about recognizing that while you can enjoy the experiences of others, your own life is just as worthy of your attention. You can still celebrate others' successes without feeling diminished by them. You can create your own experiences and live your life to the fullest, on your terms. Detachment, at its core, is freedom. It's the ability to enjoy what comes without being attached to it. It's trusting that the universe will provide, that things will work out as they should, and that, above all, your happiness isn't dependent on what happens, but on how you respond to it. The path to happiness. Now, let's talk about the path to true happiness. Where does true value come from? It's a question that, once you answer, can shift your entire mindset about attachment and emotional freedom. True value comes from within. It's your character, your wisdom, your ability to treat others with kindness. You don't need someone else's approval to be happy or feel worthy. Your worth is inherent, not dependent on anyone else's presence in your life. This is where detachment plays a crucial role. When we detach from the idea that our happiness is dictated by external circumstances or people, we free ourselves to truly experience life as it is, with all its imperfections and surprises. We often look outside ourselves for happiness, in material possessions, achievements, or even relationships. But those things are fleeting. They can come and go, and when they leave, they can take our sense of happiness with them. This is why we must look inward. Cultivating inner peace, self-love, and a deep sense of personal worth allows us to remain centered, no matter what life throws our way. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care about people. It means you recognize that your happiness and self-worth are not tied to them. You don't need someone else to complete you. You are already whole. You're not waiting for external validation to affirm your existence. When you no longer depend on anyone or anything to make you happy, you become free to live authentically and joyfully, without the constant pressure of pleasing others or conforming to societal expectations. The practice of living with purpose. Living with purpose is the next step toward emotional freedom and lasting happiness. It's easy to get distracted by the noise of daily life, the constant demands and the pressure to achieve. But when we live with purpose, we direct our energy toward what truly matters. Purpose doesn't have to be something grand or monumental. It can be as simple as showing up for the people you love, doing meaningful work, or being present in your community. The key is to align your actions with your values, to do things that feel authentic to who you are at your core. When we practice living with purpose, we stop wasting energy on things that don't serve us. We stop trying to keep up with everyone else's expectations and instead focus on our own growth and happiness. This sense of purpose gives our lives meaning and direction, helping us navigate the challenges with grace and resilience. Conclusion. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope this brought some clarity to your day, and if it resonated with you or sparked a thought, don't forget to hit that like button. If not, that's okay too. Your perspective is always welcome here. Remember, the path to emotional freedom and happiness is unique for everyone, and it's important to honor your own journey. I'd love to hear from you. Do you have any thoughts on emotional detachment or personal experiences you'd like to share? Drop them in the comments below. Your insights can inspire others, and I'm always grateful to hear your thoughts. And if you know someone who could benefit from today's message, don't hesitate to share this video with them. If you're ready to explore more Stoic wisdom and begin living a life of deeper meaning, be sure to join us at the Stoic Living. It's a space where we dive deep into Stoic philosophy, share personal growth tools, and build a supportive community. Until next time, keep living with purpose. Stay true to yourself and let the Stoic path guide you to a peaceful, fulfilling life.